The call by JICAM President for the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, to urgently put in place a new government that should be result-oriented. We're going to be discussing on that, and also on reminding ourselves on the call by the President of the Republic. Once again, His Excellency President Paul Biya made this recommendation for communities in the northwest and southwest regions and in the far north to engage in what is termed community dialogue. We are asking the question as to when this community dialogue is going to commence and what it is going to fix given the current context in the southwest and northwest regions of Cameroon. And we're going to be looking at these two topics with panelists who are with me. In the studio, we have Mr. Aloysius Tazi Aka, coming all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. Good evening, we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo, and Happy New Year to the House. Thank you very much for inviting me. We hope that at the end of this, we'll be able to have our own contribution towards enlightening the public on these questions.
We also are discussing with Dr. Michael Andimancho. Glad to have you, Mr. Michael.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Kum. Good evening to all the televiewers, and nice to be with Mr. Aloysius once again. Welcome from Buya.
Okay. We also are discussing with Mr. Eswa Kizito, who is the president of the Southwest Youth League. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thanks for having me once more, and Happy New Year to all the televiewers. Good evening to my big brother and father, Mr. Aloysius and Dr. Dimanjo. Pleasure having you guys around.
Okay, we're starting with the second topic, which has to do with recommended community dialogue in the Southwest and Northwest region by the President of the Republic. It's asking the question when it is finally going to begin. Mr. Aloysius, yes, when the President of the Republic says recommends a community dialogue for the population of the Southwest and Northwest regions of Cameroon, one would be quick to ask what he actually expects the people of these communities to do. What should the people be doing?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kun, for that question. In this situation, we can only guess because we don't know what's on the president's mind when he took that approach as one of the means of resolving the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. So apparently, my assumption is that he had some information was filtered to him that the local communities, the parents, the chiefs have a vital role that they can play in resolving this issue. And if you look at it logically, it can be true because these people living in these local areas, they know the local areas better than any other person. For instance, I was reading an article where somebody was saying that most of those in the bushes fighting are children of parents who are living in the communities. So at least the parents know their children. And so I think that my guess is that the president is looking at it, okay, if we live in a community, in a village, we assume hypothetically that the four of us are in a village, we should know that Dr. Ndemachos has a cousin who was living with him who is no longer in the house. And so maybe we can think that, okay, we can use him as a father to talk to the person, to the young man, to call him to order. And then you also know that a lot of people have been driven from the communities. Some chiefs have left their villages, people have left. So I'm also guessing that the president is looking at it, okay, if we can use this approach, we could get some of these people who have been displaced back to their local communities. Then also use that approach to talk to the people, the both camps are, because every community you have the elites, and then you have these people who are opposing their ideas. You talk to both camps at the level of the community, because look at most communities are almost interrelated. So you would be like family discussion. I look at it, it will be more like a family discussion than something that you get somebody from outside to come in and try to mediate. So my guess is that that's what's on the president's mind, and that's why he's thinking that that angle of that approach would yield better results in the resolution of the problems.
Okay. Did you see this coming from the president, recommending the implementation of community dialogue as a means of ending the ongoing conflict?
I think that is the president is going into a state of escapism as far as the northwest, southwest, north region, because sometimes when we talk community dialogue, we're only thinking about northwest and southwest. There's also the north region where we need this. And I say the state of escapism because at one moment, when you indulge with a method for so long a time and consistently on changing method, and it doesn't work, and you become confused at one moment of what to do as a leader, because the impression some people have is that the president has a magic wand to bring about peace in Cameroon. The president has a magic wand to bring people together in Cameroon. No, the president doesn't. He has tried all this while, and I must remind some people about a question that was, it was a survey. I think that survey was carried out by a Bretton Woods institution, whereby this survey was sent to African presidents during their meetings, and they asked what is the greatest challenge that they have in their individual countries. Many people talked about corruption. Many people talked about, politics and all of those. But surprisingly, the president of Cameroon talked about tribalism. The president, Paul Biya, talked about tribalism. That was in the 1990s. If you read Eric Chinji, you'll get that. And he understands that for Cameroon to be one and united, tribalism has to, first of all, remember that there is intertribal conflict and there is intra-tribal conflict, which we must not neglect. I even realize that with the Angfung crisis, it has laid bare some of, the itches, the anger, the hatred that Cameroonians had within their common society, within local societies. Because when you look at, for example, the Angfung crisis, those who are killing their own brothers are the closest of the neighbors of the Anglophone community. Nobody lives maybe from a far area to come create chaos. And that is why when you get into this crisis and people started talking about county by county issues, the Amber guys started this, the county by county, and it worked for them because they went by county, whereby they wanted people to come together according to the local communities and fight the war. They succeeded in one way or the other. But now we are talking about county by county in community dialogue. It is now becoming very difficult to bring people together because of the wounds that have been excavated, the wounds that have been created within the local communities. This community knows that this house or has this particular boy who has created havoc here. He knows that there are these particular children or young people who have created havoc there. And now the President of the Republic is asking that despite all that has been created, because most people talk about justice before peace. It is a very, very complicated thing. That issue of justice before peace is that what many people align on. And knowing that this is the popular view of the people, the president thinks that if we go by justice before peace, nothing will be attained. Because what justice will I have for my brother who has been killed? What justice will I have for my family which has been killed or which has been displaced? What we have now about community dialogue is about love. And I want to talk about that issue called love. That community dialogue should be built on what is called love. Because when you love, you are blind to what has caused you anger. This is one of the things that we have to understand about community dialogue. And I'm sure that this is what the President of the Republic is talking about. That despite all that has happened, we have gone through untold suffering. Brother has killed brother, sister has killed sister, uncle has done this to this. At the final analysis, what can heal the community is love. Because if we do not engage in love, what we call dialogue in love, we will keep on killing brothers, keep on killing sisters. Because there is no time where somebody will sit and not remember that he has suffered in this crisis. No time. Even those who have not been touched in their families, there are many who cannot go back home. And the only thing that can happen, that we will have a peace that is durable, peace that is sustainable, peace that can be able to bring us to that desired Eldorado of the community that we want, is when we put love in the middle, in an oval shape, and all of us, sit around that fireside in the village to be able to chart a way forward. All of us must be able to sit in that arena, in our palaces, in our chiefdoms, in our lamida, to be able to chart a way forward. If we cannot gather around our local chiefs, our local phones, our local lamidos, then there is no way we can talk about community dialogue. Because each time you talk about a meeting and that there is a discussion, that there is a conversation, and somebody hears that this one is going to be involved, there is always an issue. And therefore, for this to happen, people must show love, and that love will be that what you forget that you have hatred for this person, and that person forget that he has hatred for you. That is what a community dialogue, a dialogue of people who have come and seeking for a common goal and for peace in the society.
Now, Iswap Kizito, president of the Southwest Youth League, the president made this when he was taking the oath of office after his re-election, and as well as during his end-of-year address to the nation. That was on the 31st of December 2025. We are January, ending of January. We've not seen any initiative. When is that going to start? Who are we waiting for to initiate the process? Are they waiting for a blueprint in path from the presidency? What's happening?
Well, personally, before coming to that, I wish to start by saying that personally I think it's the best approach which the head of state has decided to embark on, because it has always been my position that the military, the use of force would not solve Anglophone crisis. Like Dr. Ndiwacho rightly said, all these guys who are engaged in this activity are people who live in the community. Whether I like it or not, we have to accept the reality and move forward. There are guys who live in the quarters. They did not come from space. They have their brothers, they have their sisters. They interact with the population on daily basis. Trust me, just not up to 10% of these guys are in the bushes. These guys are in town. So I think that the approach which the head of state has decided to take is the best one that can eventually put an end to this Anglophone crisis. Now, talking about when this community dialogue will begin, in his end-of-year address to the nation, he made it clear that we should engage in community dialogue. He laid emphasis on traditional rulers and local administrative authorities. But personally, I don't know if the authorities in the restive regions, that's the Northwest and Southwest, and maybe the far North, because we should be clear that it's not just the Northwest and Southwest that are having crisis in this country. We have the Northwest, the Southwest, the far North, even part of the East. So I want to believe that they are working on that. But if I were to come to a personal position, we of the Southwest, the youths of the Southwest, under the Southwest Youth League, we are already working towards that. And rest assured, by mid-February, we shall start a community dialogue in the various communities of the Southwest, because we feel that it is a challenge because whether I like it or not, 90% or more of those who are involved in this are youths.
Yeah, but you are engaging them on whose behalf?
Now, first and foremost, I want to say that dialogue is first of all not an event, like some of us feel. Dialogue is a process, which is a continuous something. Now, we have to take personal initiative before expecting anybody to support us. There is no wrong for you as Mr. Kum Leonard or Dr. Dimacho or Tamai Jarvis or a young guy in the quarter to rally 4, 5, 6 persons, preach peace, preach unity, social cohesion to them. So nobody has to tell you to do this. Yes, it's true the head of state has said it, but I think that it is supposed to be personal responbility on the person. Now this is 2026. Yes, but don't forget that we have been in this country.
You are leading a youth group. Normally, when the president of the republic, during an end-of-year address, made a statement about the Indomitable Alliance, we saw people getting into action that the President of the Republic has said it, so things have to shake up. We saw during the campaigns, youths gathered themselves to Yaoundé to pay his caution, and we saw the elites gather themselves to raise money to finance his. What are these people waiting for today?
Well, when you talk about the Indomitable Lions,
we are talking about ministers. We're talking about the
when you talk about Indomitable Lions, that's a structure. That's a body structure. When you talk about Indomitable Lions, you have already directly spoken to Fekafoot. So, which is a structure and has a responsibility to do that. But now, when the head of state said the traditional rulers and the local administrative authorities, these people are supposed to come together. I don't want to look at it from their own angle. The head of state threw the ball to Cameroonians that we should engage in community dialogue. That's why I'm telling you that.
Okay, he did not specify that the elites and
he said the elites, traditional rulers, and administrative authority.
And you think that now the general public should just sit up, please, because
what he has said, the elites, the traditional rulers, and the local administrative authority. Yes. That does not mean everybody is not involved. He just mentioned these persons because, in context, these persons are supposed to be the leaders of the various communities.
Who should take the lead and when? He has spoken twice on this.
Yeah, my assumption is that the president has and his État-Major have some sort of a laid out plan on how to achieve this. And my assumption is that this laid out plan will be unveiled to the administrative authorities concerned and the local chiefs. That, okay, for instance, in organizing this dialogue in local community, this is the approach. You gather people, you introduce this to them, you talk to them, you get their response. And my guess is that there's a program, a program that will be followed. But then, if I want to come back to what Dr. Demancho said, he mentioned love, and I think that love, if that love goes to forgiveness, because as he said, in those communities, people have been hurt, and if we put love ahead and put forgiveness behind that, okay, if I know Mr. Kum that was my son who hurt your younger brother, and I say, okay, we are forgiving him for that, then let's look at it again as a community. I think that would be a package that can really be implemented. So for me, apart from what the Southwest League leader suggested, that at their level they're already trying to take initiatives. For me, I would think that the president and his entourage has some sort of a layout plan, an approach that the administrators and the local chief will use to approach this method of resolving the issue.
So, you think that the president has spoken about it twice?
Twice, yes.
Calling on the local, administrative, traditional, and elites to engage in this, and you mean that he told them that people should wait for a blueprint that I'm going to work out under which platform, because as we speak, we have the Prime Ministry that is managing the implementation of the recommendations of the major national dialogue. It is a process that is ongoing. Now, when the president is putting in place, is recommending community dialogue, who now is going to initiate that?
Mr. Kum, saying that? Yeah. I think the president does not just get up from sleep and speaks. This comes up to him, he sits down and they diagnose it before he speaks in the public. I think there's a lot of background work that has been done. I'm sure that in the next couple of days or couple of weeks, we'll have a statement from maybe the head of government, from the Prime Ministry or the presidency, saying that, okay, following what was said in the president's speech, this is the approach that we're going to use, and this circular will go down to the appropriate authorities and the chiefs on how this should be done. I don't think that the president would just have said that without a plan, no.
Okay.
I strongly believe that they have a plan that will unveil to us in the next couple of days.
You think so too?
Well, but I still think that there is this issue of rhetorics from the President of the Republic, where you make noise about something before actually people see it happening. Because people who are worth doing things, people who are actually credible in doing things, sometimes they do before they talk about them. The issue that the President of the Republic will talk about something, yes, I'm in agreement. I agree with Mr. Lucian one way or the other, but that he has to announce that this is what his plan is to do. But I really think that the crisis that we have, especially in the Northwest and Southwest region, and the crisis in the North, these are crises that have gone for too long a time. And that, for example, Northwest and Southwest, you come 9 years. The 10th year. You come the 10th year to announce that, okay, there is an issue of a dialogue that you are announcing that is going to happen. And maybe behind the scene, you have already pre-planned something. Because we are of the community. You are linked to your community. Mr. Aloche is linked to his community. Mr. Kizito is linked to his community. And I think that there are things like this we should be aware that at least we should see some signs of things being done. Because when I look back in my own community, I do not really see anything of the sort. Because when we talk about community dialogue, what were you talking about? Arranging the safe space first for a community dialogue. Because that's important. You arrange a safe space first for community dialogue. If that was being done behind the scene, I would have already noticed that there was a safe space being arranged. And I do not know what we have the regional assembly and all of those people for. Because I thought that this is also one of their responsibilities to sow peace in the community, the regional assembly, especially in the Northwest and Southwest region. Because I think that with this regional assembly, they have what we call the councillors or representatives from the subdivision, from the division, and then from the regional level, whereby this is supposed to be a ladder, and we are talking about this, there should be something like, you know, a bottom-top kind of approach that they should use to bring up and then let us know exactly what is happening. But when you look, you don't see any proof for it. What we are seeing is people are only busy preparing for other elections, as if nothing is happening. So safe space is an important issue. And then we talk about the inclusive representation when we talk about dialogue, a community dialogue. There should be inclusive representation. But when you look around and you get detailedly into what is happening in this region, you do not see any sign that there is somebody who is preparing somebody somewhere to come for an inclusive dialogue in anything. Because in a dialogue, first of all, you don't have to ignore people in terms of their culture, in terms of identity, in culture, their tradition and all of those. It is important. As Mr. Kizito said, it is not, it is not an event. It is a process. And you will not get up one day in the morning and say, community dialogue is here, everybody hooray. No. We need to see things being done, that there is at least this stage that is being laid for something that is going to happen. It is like you welcoming the child Jesus at Christmas. And what you do is there's a series of preparation that we do for children to wait for that moment.
What are the actors who are supposed to be part of this community?
The actors that are supposed to be part of the community, first, I will talk about the local community. And let me say blatantly that we need to have somebody who is the voice of this community to get somewhere. If you only arrange a dialogue within the community without somebody who is there to carry the voice and the views and the aspiration of this community somewhere, you are wasting your time. Because the people need to be sure that when they sit and discuss, tomorrow it is going to happen. We have had so many discussions I did in community that have not gone anywhere.
Yeah, this brings me to the reason why I raised this was because I wanted us to establish something. The president says, okay, administrative, traditional and other authorities, go and engage in community dialogue. Now, what is the trust that the population has for these guys if they really have been vomited and you still send them there as elites? We saw the elections, the past elections, but if these same persons are coming to engage in dialogue, are they the apt ingredients to initiate this process, or the community themselves are supposed to elect, not I don't say voting, choose those whom they believe in to get this process on?
Now, the first thing is we have to be honest to ourselves. The politicians have lost relevance in the field. That's for sure. We have to say things the way they are.
This process is still going to come because you said there is a blueprint somewhere prepared by these same persons to come to the field with.
If I were to, I personally think that especially in the Northwest and Southwest, like Dr. Dimanjo said, the regional assembly should take their responsibility. You don't expect the governor of the Southwest region to engage in a community dialogue, whereas we have the regional assembly there where we are talking about decentralization. And I feel, it is my belief, and from what I've gathered in the field, trust me, if politicians are at the forefront of this, it will backfire. we have gotten to a stage where if the regional assembly is to champion that on behalf of the various regions, they should engage civil society organizations and go along with this dialogue. Now, the first thing I think should be done is that it should be done in phases. You don't just go to the field today and you say, okay, please come out, let's talk. It should be done in phases. The feasibility study should first of all be done. We go to the various communities, maybe they do a work plan, you carve out the communities. If you take the Southwest, for instance, the Southwest has 6 divisions and 31 subdivisions. Now, you have to make sure that you go to all those 31 subdivisions. If I just imagine the budget, which was exhausted or used during the major national dialogue in 2019, it's mind-blowing. So I think the time has come for the regional assemblies of these 2 regions to identify civil society organizations, go down to the field into all the 31 subdivisions of these regions, of the Southwest region, for instance, where I come from. Identify, if you go to a subdivision, there are people who will tell you that these are the persons who are popular, these are the persons who are popular, these are the persons we can work with. If this person calls the population, they will come out. Let's keep our egos aside now, because we have something in front of us to resolve. When you go to these various communities, allow the communities to choose the persons whom they feel can represent them and bring them out when the time comes. That's phase 1. That consultative talk. When we identify all these persons in all the 31 subdivisions, we can now first of all sit with the leaders of all, and then one thing should be clear. Let's allow everybody to speak their mind. There should be no barrier. It's true that we know that there will be some, obviously, in as much as we are saying that there should be no barrier, of course there should be some restrictions. It's not because we say that we have come to you that everybody can just insult. No. I am not supporting that. So I think the first phase should be the various authorities that matter, go down to the field, visit all your subdivisions and divisions, create your various subdivisional committees and the various leaders of those groups. You bring them together, you talk, and they prepare the ground for the second phase. That's why I said it is not an event, it is a process. Of course, we have been in this mess for 10 years. This is the 10th year. So I think it should not be a 6 months project. It should not be a 9 months project. It should be a continuous project until we start experiencing total peace. Because whether I like it or not, I know it may not be friendly to everybody. The Southwest region is enjoying relative peace. I've selected my word very well, relative peace. Because the situations we had 2-3 years ago is not the same situation we have today. So I think we should capitalize on this relative peace now, go down to the field, create the impact, and that impact should be felt. Because it is through this process, it is through this commitment, this pact that the head of state has taken, that I feel genuinely the people will be able to listen other than the use of force.
Yes, but you say something is being worked on in Yaoundé, but how soon should this start? Because we see the killings that are taking place, especially in the northwest regions. We saw the massacre that took place in Gidado, in Du, the other day. We saw the killings and the kidnappings and all of this. Should we still wait till the day the president thinks that we should implement this?
Yeah, before I come to that, I would like to go back to my gentleman's suggestion that he just made. And he raised some very salient issues that I think I want to say something about. The approach. He said something that most politicians have lost trust in their communities. I think that is true. Something happened when late Cardinal Tumi, may so rest in peace, came out with this idea of Anglophone sitting down. Dr. Munzu was in the team. And when Dr. Munzu was attacked, I respect him for that. He backed out. Dr. Munzu stepped out that if he's a problem that will cause that gathering not to gather, he steps back. People say a lot of things about him in the first sittings. He stepped back and said, okay, you people can move on. If I'm the problem, move on. And so I'm saying that even if in the plan that may be unveiled by the government, we don't know, if, for instance, Mr. Kum, you are picked up as a politician to go and initiate this dialogue in your community. You know your community better. If you know that for some reasons you have not been agreeing with people in your community, you can get down to the community and okay, for this reason, I'm surrendering this to Dr. Demancho, who is in the community, whom we think people can trust. I want to step back and let Dr. Demancho, for instance, be the one to galvanize people on the ground, gather people, and if people trust him more than they do to me, because at the end of the day, we want to achieve results. It is not, we want results on the table. It must not come from an individual. So if people are able to know the way they are looked upon in their own communities. So you should know whether your people trust you now, or they had some trust and they have lost some trust, or whatever. You should be able to know that, and so that when you are going out, so long as you want to come back with results, you should know where you put yourself, so that at the end of the day you can get the results that are required. To come back to your question, Mr. Kum, you were asking, should we just wait? Again, I reiterate, I don't think that the president got up from sleep and said this. I think that the president knows that it is 10 years down the line this crisis has been going on. I think he has been thinking, a lot of approaches have been attempted in resolving this crisis. That with the bilingualism committee, we started with national dialogue. A lot of things have been done. And I'm sure that the president sat down 10 years down the line and took stock of the success of all these approaches. We succeeded here, we did not succeed, 50%, 40%, 30%. He said, okay, how do we move forward? Then apparently he came up with this, what we are talking about now. And I'm sure that he again, I reiterate, he didn't just come up and just come out. I'm sure that in the next couple of days, there's something, a certain agenda, a certain plan that will be followed will come up. And as you said, if it delays, because at the end of the day, I think that what the Southwest Youth League is doing is they are doing that because already a structure that is there. Because if you dare to start doing that without a roadmap and it fails, and then the roadmap comes out and shows that you're working against the roadmap that I assume the government has, you may have some questions to answer.
What if no roadmap comes out?
No, but there must be one, Mr. Kum. The president cannot get to adjust something and throw it. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that.
The president severally has said we're going to witness the fight against corruption and that. For over 10 years, we've not seen a clear, though efforts have, but following what the president has said. The president 2 years ago raised the issue of the CAN and COVID gate. We have not seen any clear action towards that. Not just that, the president talked about inertia in government more than 13 years ago. We know what is happening in Cameroon. So the president declaring an implementation, have we not heard the president make so many recommendations? Because this is supposed to be acted upon by his collaborators.
Mr. Leo, permit me just chip in something. I personally feel that the head of state has taxed the elite and the local administrative authorities to work. I personally don't feel that there is any roadmap that will come from the presidency. This is more like a tax to them. Okay, let me sit back and see what you can do. You have been telling me that your people trust you, your people hear from you here. This is a tax. Go down and produce result. So I feel that the time has come for the elites. I don't want to say politicians. The politicians are still elites, but I want to use the word elite. I feel that the time has come for the elites of the two English-speaking regions, in particular Northwest and Southwest, to take their responsibilities, not sitting in Yaoundé in their big offices and sending down information or orders to people. Let them take their responsibilities. I always talk and fall back to the Southwest where I belong. We are ready to support them 100%. We are ready to carry down the ideas, the vision, their objectives to the population. We just want them to take their responsibilities. Let me inform you that before coming here, even before you, I was summoned or notified about this program. I've had time since we started preparing this community dialogue stuff to talk with a few top elites of the Southwest region. And what I can tell you is that the feedback I've gotten from them so far is a very, very positive one, and which is one of the reasons why I feel so encouraged to go on with the activity. But we want them to come at the forefront, because when I always call, I tell them that we cannot go on our own. We need you at the forefront to lead us so that we don't fall into errors. Whether we like it or not, you still remain the elite, you still remain our fathers, you still remain our elder brothers. So we want you to lead. When you open the floor, you cannot leave it for us, the young people, to continue. But you must be there, because it has something to do with a political will. You must be there to tell us that this is the path you have to take, this is the path you have to take, and they will continue from there. So it has come to a time where they need to take their responsibility and they will accompany them.
Is this also a challenge to see the worth of those who have stood for years as the spokespersons of regions, of divisions and subdivisions. Is this a challenge?
Mr. I really want to be very, very brutal about this issue of that the president has thrown back, especially on the elites. Remember the results that we had from the last elections. The result to him, even the president of the republic, appears are very baffling.
Since you say
yes,
you
said you won. You gave me 80-something% in the northwest. You gave me this how many in the southwest? 98%. It means that you are people of the community. So go and talk to the people. It's not about campaigns. They vote for me. Yes, thank you for asking them to vote for me. It means that you can ask them to sit down for a community dialogue. I think that you are putting them to a test. And I'm sure that this is even why the reshufflement is taking time. Yes, I have that conviction. Because I know that the President of the Republic is baffled about their results. He knows that result that they gave him even, he is not sure of that result. And he wants to put them into a further task to say, confirm this result that you gave to me by going back to your community and discussing with your people. And he wants to hear news that people have gone and started conversation in the communities. Just as they claim that they went and they started and they did campaigns in their communities for him to win. And it is really shocking that up to now, we have not had or heard, maybe the media are reporting, I'm not getting it, the way the media reported also during the campaigns, that we want to see these people in the communities trying to broker peace. Key task that I've given them. If you are not careful, many of them will escape this country. It is very, very possible. Wait and see. Many of those people escape this country. They thought that they have done something very beautiful as they used to do in the past for President Paul Biya. But I'm still having this conviction that President Paul Biya, knowing that at this point in time he has nothing to lose, and that the best thing for him to keep Cameroon good. And therefore, he said in the past, you have fooled me. And this time around, I'm giving you the task to do it. Because, and I know that that task will not be done because I have my own feeling about community dialogue in this perspective. In the Northwest and Southwest, in the Northwest region, first of all, the Graphi in general, we have what we call the self-help community, manifestation. I mean, when we have these village development associations, yes, self-reliant in the community development, we have this in the Graphi region. And this is something that started ever since my community started its own village development association in 1979. This village development association, which we neglect, are very, very powerful organs and community-oriented organization that we can use. That is why I'm feeling that at one moment, we will not even be talking about some of these elites going back to talk. We'll be talking to this village development association. We have people who are trusted in villages. We have very trusted people in the villages, but they are being silenced by the politicians. The politicians blinded. And that is why you even see that most politicians, even in the Northwest, they run back to head this village development association. They use money to head. I bet the people know that they know the right leaders here. They know the right. Come and buy and be our president and spread that money. But we know the right people. Who is the right person to head this association? They know the people they trust. In this community, this association, they know. If you go to them and you ask them that who can really talk to these people around in my village, they will point to you, and you'll be shocked to see the kind of people they are pointing. I think at a final analysis, this is where we are going to go at. That we belong to chiefdoms, and I've said this thing many times, that there are people who are trusted within their tradition, within their cultures, that when they stand up and they want to talk even to these boys down there, they are going to listen to them. And I'm sure that these are the people that should be given the mandate. That go, we will use you. And I don't know why they are always highlighting them. We'll use you. Go talk to their people. We'll open an inclusive dialogue for you people to attain. Not the dialogue for 2020? Or when national dialogue was when? 2019. Not that kind of a dialogue. That we will open up a dialogue and you will be part of this dialogue because the community trusts you. And that you will no more be the politicians to come and decide for this dialogue that we want this, we want that. We will shock about the kind of people who come up. This is what a president who loves to bring. And I'm sure he may not even just be the president now. And if you look at most communities now, even Most communities are agreeing among themselves that even that disorder that we used to have before, 2017, 18, 19, you don't have them in most communities. And people are not asking the question why. People should ask real questions. There is a reason why most of that disorder is no more. Because there is a community dialogue already in the very, very small scale, which is very important already. They are discussing. I've listened and I've heard from right sources where people have talked to some of these boys and told them, see, leave education to go on. Why are you destroying education? Leave, because tomorrow when things will be fine, you find that your own children will be backward. And many of them have listened that now they allow school to go on. Many schools now, they know, are going with uniform. Do you know that? Something that could not happen before. Do you think that they are politicians who have gone and brokered that? They are not politicians. They are the villagers who have understood with them and organized the dialogue in their small scale.
Yes. Now, if when people are sent down to engage a community dialogue, would they have the courage to talk with the separatists? Or can an effective dialogue and with a positive outcome happen without getting to talk to the boys who are carrying arms?
There is no way, Mr. Leo, that you go to a community and talk to that entire population without having separatists in that population. It's not possible. Okay. Like we initially said, these people live in the quarters. They sleep with us in the quarters. They sleep with their brothers and sisters. So they get violent when there is a strike somewhere. Now, one of the hottest places we used to have in the Southwest Oboya subdivision used to be Mile 16. We have law enforcement officers who patrol there every day unarmed. We have a police checkpoint there. Do you think these guys are in space? No, they are in Mile 16. They only get violent when they feel like something is not right somewhere. So if you go to Mile 16, for instance, today, to organize a discussion amongst the population of Mile 16, there is no way you can tell me that if 1,000 people come to the CBC school field there, you will not have 2-3 separatists in there. It's not possible. So we should tell ourselves the truth that these people want somebody to talk to them, and the reality should be told.
Yeah, but if these persons want to talk to them, yeah, you gather everybody and you're talking to. Are you talking to them?
See,
you give everybody the space.
Mr. Leo,
Inclusive dialogue.
what about inclusive dialogue? When you are
would they identify
in their vision, in their thoughts, they know that they are out there defending that people you are going to talk to. So if you talk to those people and those people are satisfied, for instance, you have spoken to them, and like I said, they are still amongst those people. But I'm still begging that I know we shall have municipal and legislative elections in a month ahead. That's why when I started talking here, I said politicians should not be at the forefront of this event, else it backfires. Because most of them, trust me, if they are at the forefront, they'll try to use it as for their political campaign and self-aggrandizement. This community dialogue, which the head of state has prescribed, should be led by civil society organizations. Even there is no way we can. Every human being is a political being. But even if a politician, for instance, let's say a mayor, let's say a parliamentarian, is accompanying that population, he should not go there in a capacity as a parliamentarian. Go there in your normal capacity as a son or daughter of the Southwest, or of that community. There is something I want us to mention here clearly, which we have already adopted. Now, there is a group of thought which feels that Southwesterners should head their dialogue in the Southwest, Northwesterners should head in the Northwest. I disagree with that 100%. Now, because if we were to go by numbers, bet you, if you go to a place like Mile 16, for instance, you have more Northwesterners than Southwesterners, whether I like it or not. That has been done. So you cannot go to Mile 16, for instance, and you want to talk about community dialogue, you neglect the Northwesterners. Then you are not passing that message. It means you are not doing community work at all. So what I'm suggesting is whoever will lead that dialogue, the team that will be created should be an inclusive team. All the 10 regions of Cameroon should be in that team. That's what makes it more inclusive. That's what will even give it more trust. So much so that by the time the people are in the various community, if a Ngiman sits and hears his brother discussing community dialogue in Mile 16, but not as a Southwesterner, he feels more inclusive, he feels more protected. So what I'm saying is that we should keep regionalistic tendencies aside, we should keep tribalistic tendencies aside, we should face the reality. There is an enemy in front of us that we want to strike away. What is that enemy? Unrest. The time for blame game is over. We should not say the government did this, we should not say the separatists did this. The head of state has said, let's go to the communities. Trust me, there are communities in the southwest, just like in the northwest, that separatists do not operate there. If you go to Boya, the people of Tole, you will never hear about Amba in Tole, now as we speak. Why? Because the people came together and decided that it will not work here. We don't want it here, and that is how it is. Which means that if the community wants it to stop, it will stop. And I think the head of state has taken the best approach by giving it back to the communities, to the people, to solve their problem. And I feel that if they empower those people, they will solve their problem.
Okay, but one question I want to ask is, I'll start with you, but be brief. If the president had announced a budget for this, would we not see people fighting to
My brother would have had,
would
have already had serious fight, physical confrontation
to go and do.
But now, because the president has not announced that this is the allocated budget for this, everybody has hibernated. Nobody wants to spend their resources, especially the politicians who feel that their elections are coming where they'll use their money for their campaigns. So that's a very, very sensitive and good point. So I think has also put the politicians to serious test again.
Okay.
And that is why the president has to hold them accountable in his next shake-up that comes up in the days ahead, like he said on the 31st.
Hello.
But the days ahead can still be a year.
Okay. Hello, good evening, Te Romanos, writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Te Romanos. Good evening, Mr. Leo. And to your panelists, community dialogue is a very laudable initiative, but it can't provide a definitive solution to the ongoing Anglophone crisis. It can be, to an extent, only halt the crisis for some decades, only to resurface again in future. You believe so?
Of course, I truly believe so, because, as I said, many other approaches have been tried before, and they partially work, others did not work. This alone, community dialogue standing alone, of course, is not going to solve the problem. It is just one aspect that we think that can join with others to help ameliorate on the situation of the problem. Of course, it can never be alone. Other approaches have been tried. I truly agree with the guy who posted that message there.
So you say you think that even when this is engaged without outrightly talking to the separatists, it can really cause a halt to the affairs, and those who are also managing affairs from out of the country, how do you get them involved?
So these guys who are commanding this thing from abroad have people on the ground who are effecting their instructions.
Yes.
That's why in such a dialogue, it should be very open, and people should be given the room to talk. Somebody hardly stand up and say, I'm talking as a separatist, but when they stand up and they air their views, okay, I'm angry because of this, I'm angry because Dr. Demacho did this and this and this and this, and I feel that if we want to have peace in this community, Dr. Demacho, we should stop doing this, Okay, we listen. In the course of that listening, you will listen to the views of the people across the board in that community. And when you do that, these people are represented from all camps, believe me, without necessarily identifying themselves during that dialogue. And that representation is what matters. Once people feel that they are part of it, they have not been left out, because that is the mistake that we may have made in other attempts to resolve this issue. Certain people feel that they have been left out, and that's why they feel that, okay, if I've been left, I have to prove my worth by continuing to influence those on the ground to continue to do whatever they are doing. So the best thing to do is be open, give them time, let people air out their grievances, and let everybody who can talk. In the course of doing that, you give everybody a chance, and nobody have an excuse. Okay, I was not given the chance to talk, because everybody had a chance to talk, so nobody have an excuse at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody has an excuse, but now, if elites could, on their own, raise hundreds of millions for campaigns, What stops them from raising
finance the project? Okay.
campaigns? We saw them do that.
So what stops them from?
From taking this initiative now.
Of course, you just said one point that it is when money is involved, when you say that there's a budget for something that you find them actually involved. The money the elites raise, of course, for campaigns is still money they gain from government treasury. It's not their money. So they can raise that to keep the status quo. But then I want to come back to the question you asked Mr. Lucian about the diaspora. Because a crisis like this cannot be stopped without diplomacy, without involving into diplomacy. Let me know, diplomacy is very, very important. And not diplomacy just with the guys in the diaspora, but diplomacy with the countries where they are hosted. It is very, very important. You remember that some countries like America, nowhere, or they started already doing something, and a lot of things actually stopped from chill down. Now, the second thing that, because when we say dialogue is a process, because at one moment, it is good to carry out a survey of most of these guys who are actually sponsoring this thing abroad. It is important to do that. When you carry out a survey, and I know that the government knows them, you carry a survey about these people, you bring it back to the communities where they belong. You let the people of the community, those who are involved, the guys who are involved. This was done in other countries, Liberia was done, that you bring it to them. Let them be able to see the discrepancy that exists between them fighting the war, who are being used as guinea pigs, and those who are over there. Many of them are living an Acadian life, sending their children to school, and living a life that is lavished. It is important to let the guys who are being sponsored on the ground know this, that they are dying for people who say that they should not be, shouldn't be in a school, and that they should go into the field and die, but then they are living their life. It is important that you carry out this survey, bring it back to the community, let the people see a reason, because there are times when you will even want to sponsor some people and they will sit and say, no, this kind, we have come to our senses and seen that you are fooling us. It is important to know that. Now, talking about the elites who contribute money and they sponsor campaigns, you know, they are sponsoring what they are going to gain from. It's an investment they are doing, knowing that tomorrow, as President Pope, we are not one. Are they not waiting for appointment? Yeah. If they stop the war, what are they going to be waiting for? So this is one of the things that we have to understand, that man is so selfish, man is so inhuman, man is so wicked. The heart of man is dark, that somebody feels that he can trample on the blood of his brothers and sisters because of a political ambition. And I often say this: no drop of blood of a politician is worth, no blood of a politician, I mean, of a young man, a woman is worth the political ambition of any politician. But this is what is happening today. The politicians want to walk on the stream on blood in order to gain political appointment, and that is what is happening. What concerns them in the community at this point in time? Because not even just talking about money being voted somewhere. We have these communities that are going through a lot of difficulties, Mr. Kum, where we need just our little support in terms of finances to bring. Do you know what a community tap can do for a community? I was telling some people what the rule of a community tap. That a community tap is a place of reunion. It's a place of gathering. It's a place for dialogue. That is why I gave an example about the north. If you go to the north, and then you want to put taps, faucets in people's homes, you will realize that you are not going to be popular. They are not going to like it. Because in the north, it is that moment where the woman gets up and carries her basin and goes to a community tap that he meets the other women and they are able to discuss. And what they discuss at that particular time is an important thing for the community. It is dialogue. When we were growing in a village and we were still carrying water in the stream, when you got up and you were going to the stream, there was a sound that you made to let other children know that you are going to the stream, and that you could meet there, discuss, play, and all of those. So it is important for these politicians to know these strategies, that there are certain issues, even a community hall, that you can be able to sponsor in your village that can bring people together. There are passive ways of bringing peace to the community. Even when you don't say that you want to bring peace, there are things that you do that passively bring people together. It is very, very important, but you find them, they don't do. They have huge sums of money that they want to store, they want to worship, and that they don't want to spend for the people in the village. And that is why the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest and Extreme North have aggravated. Let me say why. Most of these politicians, they have money to invest in jobs, in employment, but they do not. You know why? Because they want, when they go back to the village, they want all those youth to come and worship them. They fall at their knees and say, oh, this one. And what do? You give them the few notes, 1,000 francs, 2,000 francs. Because you feel that if you empower them, tomorrow they will not worship you any longer. This is what is happening with the human being and with us Cameroonians as a whole. That you do not want to empower. And that is why we keep on encouraging, even passing the war to be going on. Because of our self-ego. We want to be worshipped. We want people to look at us at the pedestal where we are. We are at the level of authority and they are down there in solidarity. This is the problem. And that is why they can only indulge in issues when they are sponsored. When there is a commission that has been set. Let them say there are commissions set in the different villages who are going to take care of this. You will find how people will spray money. We see them spreading money. Yeah, when they want to be looked upon as people who are the mouthpieces of the community, that when they see me, I'm the mouthpiece of the community. We have seen many of them sharing money during elections. A lot of money, of course. Ask yourself, we are talking about bringing people together. Schools have been destroyed. There were accidents on schools and all of that. Have you seen any of them after he said that he wants to rebuild schools or he wants to rebuild hospitals? In my village, we have a hospital that has gone for some few years now that has been vandalized. Or, I mean, even by the wind, it was a natural disaster. But you have politicians who will not do that. But what they do is, during campaigns, they brought in a lot of money to be able to share to people. And then they get the good name and they go out. So it is important for us, if there should be dialogue, I said it before, there should be love. If there is no love, forget it. Most of these people have decided that they will not even live in the villages any longer. Yes. They have decided that they will never invest in their villages any longer. Their investments are in town. Douala, Yaoundé, Bafsam, all of those places. They know that they will not go back to their villages. And therefore, who cares? The only thing they will go back to the village to do is to take the votes. That is all. And nothing else. They take their vote from there, they come out. You talk about parliamentarians, how many of them live in their villages? You talk about senators, how many of them live in their villages in Northwest and Southwest region? Even you talk about the mayors, how many of them live in their local villages? But what do? You find each year, the budget that is set for every council is being used. And you ask yourself, how is this being spent until to the last franc? And that the mayors are able to defend it and defend it well. And then you don't see anything being done. It is with complacency of those who are in authority in Yaoundé. I think that somebody should take responsibility. And I think that with this speech that President Pobia is doing, it appears he wants to take responsibility now. He has every reason to take responsibility at this point in time.
Now, the president says elites, political, administrative authorities engage in community dialogue. If we cannot engage in community dialogue, to talk to our brothers and sisters, how do we convince them to vote for us as mayors and MPs in the months ahead?
If I told you vote for them.
Sorry?
I say, the president says you guys should engage in community dialogue. You can only talk to people that you have command.
You see,
elections are coming.
Yes, technically it's easier on the mayors, but very difficult on the MPs. Because as far as the MPs are concerned, it's universal suffrage.
Yes.
So the MPs have no choice.
Yeah, maybe in the mayors, the party first. The party must first win.
I understand. I understand.
It is the list, the party list.
The party list must first of all win before they start solving their internal issues.
So before you become mayor, you first win the election as a party.
That's why I said, if we look at what happened, I'll say it frankly, I come from the Southwest.
Because as we speak, every mayor is going in as a municipal councillor.
Yes.
You are not going.
You are not going as mayor.
Yes.
The mayors, let me be frank, the mayors and the to be MPs, financially, they have mobilized already. In the recent October 12 presidential elections, most of them neglected their elections. They contributed, but their contribution was not heavy. I know what I'm saying, because they were preparing for theirs, which concerns them directly. By the time the electorates will be convened, according by the law, latest should be the 9th of February, it should be convened. you will see them in the field start telling people the story they told them 5 years ago, of which not up to 10% was executed. Now, the head of state has put the cart before them. Those are the people who will send you back to parliament. Those are the people who will send you back to your office as mayor. Go and talk to them, prove your worth. Now, I'm telling the youths out there, because whether I like it or not, majority of the population is made up of the youths. Please, nobody should come and fool you again. Nobody. When anybody comes before you, tell the person to present you their balance sheet for the last 5 years. Nobody should come and tell you stories. They should convince you with evidence. Something that they have done, that you can check, that for the last 5 years, parliamentarian A, B, C did this, you did this, so it is a reason why I'm voting you back to parliament. If not, I'm saying it as Kizito, as president of Southwest Youth League, we shall mobilize and vote you people out if you cannot convince us with proof, with projects, not proof, that for the past 5 years we have worked for the people. We are mobilizing. Mr. Leo, the presidential election was, one thing some of us forget to note is that the most important election in every country is not presidential election. It's the legislative election. That's where in a Republican country like Cameroon, that's where the president of the republic gets his power. Because that's where laws are passed. For instance, if opposition takes majority of the seats in parliament today, I bet you next presidential election the CPJ will not win. Because power will change hand. Laws which come from the government bench, which are not favorable, will not pass through, will not pass. So the time has come for the young people to take their responsibility. Let these people who are coming to you as mayors, as MPs, give you a track record. If not, let's rally and vote them out of office. I don't care whether it is a CPDM person who wins or whoever wins, or SDF or MRC. But those who have not proven to us for the last 5 years that they are people of the community, let's rally now and vote them out.
We are not here to do campaigns here. We are talking about community dialogue. It's
not campaign, sir. It's not campaign. Please, if it were campaign, I would have spoken on behalf of a party.
Okay.
These people are going to talk to people in the quarters. These people, the community dialogue, are going to talk to people. So before you must show them that you are able to lead me.
Okay, we have 20 minutes to discuss about the second topic for tonight, but don't go away, because we're going to be talking about import and export at the end of this program. You want to import and export goods so that you can make some money. We're going to be talking about that with an expert who will be joining us towards the end of the program, especially for those who want to engage in business. Now, the second topic we are looking has to do with the president of GCAM, who is asking the president of the republic, give us a result-driven government, reshuffle. Tawamba's urgent message to President Paul Biya. Did you read that call? And why would the president of GCAM be the one to remind the president that the economy is down, things are virtually not moving? It is urgent for you to do this cabinet shakeup, and when you are doing it, you need to cut away from the old guard. We need a complete turnaround when it comes to reshuffling your government.
Yeah, I think that call is coming from somebody who is seeing a situation practically every day on the Cameroon economy.
He's a patron of the business world in Cameroon.
Yes. So he knows. He knows it. He knows where it is pinching. He knows that the economy is down. He knows what people are going through every day to put food on the table in their families. GCAM takes note of all of these things. So when he makes that plea to the president, it is but imperative that he has enough justification, if you can talk to him, to make that plea. And so the president too has to be. I have to be a bit frank here. I think this is. I personally do not believe that whoever is appointed into the new government would bring a lot of changes to the life of common Cameroonians now, because we've seen this for a couple of years. And I think one of the greatest weaknesses of the government is that the government does not hold people accountable for the responsibilities they give them. I think we throw a lot of blame at the president, but the president cannot run the country alone. So, and the impression is that if they appoint Dr. Demancho, the Minister of Public Works,
Thanks for the wish.
and the roads are bad, he's not held accountable for the bad roads. And then the worst thing is that Cameroonians have come to know that if he allows the road to go bad, he will not be held accountable. And they have planted it on their minds. And this is very dangerous because whoever comes to power tries to siphon money and then don't do what the money was given for them to do. I mean, Mr. Kum, you will be shocked to know that there are even some elites. Imagine there are some elites that the money have been provided by the government for development of their villages, and they turn around and they play with it. I mean, their own villages. So what I'm saying is that, for me, whoever is appointed now, it will take the grace of God for that person to come and really impact on the lives of Cameroonians. Because if you look at the way the country is run now, people have come to realize. There was a question you asked us before here. You said the president promised that heads will rule during the AFCON. During the AFCON. Yeah, COVID gate. You said the president promised that heads were going to rule, and we've not seen anything. Those are the type of things that have sent out the impression that if you are given responsibility and you don't execute it, you can still go scot-free. And on in that line of reasoning, I'm afraid to say that whoever will come out on that list, it will take God's grace for them to really impact the lives of Cameroonians. And so I'm sorry, the president of GCAM, I'm sorry to inform him that what he's expecting may not likely come, irrespective of who may be appointed in that government, because the impression is already there that you are put to office to help yourself, and even if you don't help, you don't do what you're supposed to do, you will hardly be held accountable. That's not a good remark.
Okay, that's not a good remark. But do you understand why till now we don't have a new government? We've seen elections taking place across Africa after our elections. They have new governments. Take the case of Uganda, they have a new government. Take the case of Ivory Coast, they have a new government and a cabinet meeting already. Yes, all of them. How do you go for elections and then months after there's no new government?
This just shows you how Cameroon is always being surprised about everything that happens. Because in my understanding, you go for campaigns with a possible government.
Yes.
This is what I think that is done in other countries. You have a team with whom you engage in an active campaign.
If I
win, this is my team that I'm going to take for the next government. Yes. But it is surprising that in Cameroon, it appears as if
that's the team in place.
It is funny. It cannot be the team in place now. As we were talking about community dialogue, it would really appears as if President Paul Biya is a little bit baffled by what has just happened. And there are many hypotheses. A lot of us have said the government machinery is no more working. And you know when it's not working, you know who to blame. And at this point in time, we're asking ourselves whether that ship is being driven by a captain at this particular point in time. That's the first hypothesis. Because even it was what? You could renew the government. Yes, even it was a keep, as Mr. Kiso is saying, you could renew it and say, are you, I mean, they won't call reshufflement now. You take, but that's how it has been done in the past now. You take this one for Ministry of Sport, put in culture, put in this and this. This one was done in the past. How is this very difficult now that cannot be done? And that is where the problem is now. And I'm sure that is even the worry of the president of GCAM. That is his worry, because many more people are understanding that there is something not right. And now we are of the school of thought. We are accepting the school of thought that there are camps who are battling to get control of this country. And we can be, we don't want to wish the worst for our country, because this is unheard of. We know that it has happened in the past, and appointments were even made in January. But at least we saw things happening. Mr. Kum, I don't know, Mr. Aloysius or Mr. Kizo, I don't know whether you people feel like me. I feel as if somebody has hidden the money of this country somewhere.
There's no money.
You know, are you people feeling? I know. Anyway, you people are fine. You people are okay. But I have a feeling that somebody has hidden the money of this country somewhere, because he fears that something bad will happen in this country, and that is when things that will have passed, that will release the money, because things are not moving. And at the point where we think
that is exactly the reason why the GCAM
because the GCAM has said this because, first of all,
the economists,
you know, the entrepreneurs, they come together to give reports. The entrepreneur must have given him, discussed a very bad report about what is happening in Cameroon. And I'm sure they are feeling what I'm feeling. Can you imagine how you go to a big director now, he cries poverty even more than you? It shows that things are not moving. Things are really not moving, and we see that they are not moving. Because when you go around, you don't see things moving. You understand that, when things go wrong in terms of business, who would they blame? Who blame the GCAM, and the president always carries the weight of it all. So it is important that he always points out and tells the president that in the past you have appointed people on family ties, you have appointed people on regional tribal ties, you have appointed people on friendship ties. Mr. President, all of these have not worked. The results are poor. And that if you really mean your speech, the New Year's speech, please appoint real meaningful people who on meritocracy this time around. And that this is what we want. This point the other day we discussed a topic about Gabon, where President Olingi actually gave a time frame, 100 days. If you don't deliver the goods, I fire you. This is what we want from the president at this point in time in Cameroon. Not a kind of a lackadaisical manner of rulership. We need active ministers, director general, and above all, we need an active president who will prove to us that he can cut. This is what we are asking for. And that you will not imagine that at the time when Cameroon is going down the drain, because all of us feel it. This time around, nobody can pretend. Even the CPDM members cannot pretend any longer. Mr. Kizito, can we pretend any longer? We can't pretend that things are not moving. Because they go behind in the corridors and they tell you, Massa, even this thing we're defending like this, but it is bad or no, it's bad in this country. This is what they say now. Now they're saying it. So it is bad.
Yes. Kizito, the economy, many persons who have written say the economy looks like it is in a standstill.
The economy of Cameroon is stagnant. It's on a standstill.
Is it also because the ministers are speculative, thinking that I may engage in this and tomorrow I'm not there?
Sure.
Does it actually put the country on a hold?
Sure, 100% I agree with you. See, since the 31st of December, after his end of year message to Cameroonians, I want to bet you that no minister leaves his office before 5 p.m. No, none. Except that minister is not in the office. In fact, I'll bet you that after that speech of the head of state, no minister receives at 5 p.m. Because they want the 5 p.m. news. When the 5 p.m. news comes and goes, they breathe a sigh of relief. At least a day added to my lifespan as a minister. The first thing that baffles me is where I find it difficult to understand and agree with the head of state this time around. I've been one of his supporters anyway. Is how do you explain the fact that one minister sits in a particular ministry for 21 years? We have 4 ministers in this country who have held their positions for 21 consecutive years. E.g., the Minister of Higher Education. He has been the Minister of Higher Education for 21 consecutive years. In fact, the last time we had ministerial shake-up in this country was in March 2nd, 2018. And in 2019, January 4th, I think they brought in Prime Minister Joseph Zionkute. If we're talking about appointing a new government, one thing I admire about Paul Biya, the head of state, is that when it comes to administrative setup, he has always respected the constitution. He has not violated any part of the constitution by not appointing a new government. There is no law which says that after presidential election he must appoint a new government. There is no law. So he has not violated any law. It's just that as human we expect that change, which will come. Of course, he said it on the 31st of December, that in the days ahead, we are already 27, 28 days gone. Some of you were so anxious. I saw some of your write-ups. Some of you were so anxious about 2 weeks ago that it will happen this Friday. One thing about Paul Biya is that he has made us to understand that it's very unpredictable. I don't know why some of us are still finding it very difficult to understand that. Don't be surprised that you only make the new government after the municipal legislative elections. It's somebody who's very, very unpredictable. Now, the economy of Cameroon, as the president of Southwest Youth League, I am privileged to an extent to meet some of the local administrative authorities one-on-one. I asked them, mind you, most of them, 99% of those I've met from the highest level in the region are complaining. But unfortunately, they cannot come out to talk. See, let me talk on their behalf, sir. Those people are suffocating. But you have a project to carry out. Youths go to, the, for instance, the regional assembly for support, nothing, because there is nothing there. So the country has been taken hostage by financial crisis. We don't know whether that money, like Dr. Dimaggio said.
Yeah, but when you say the country is facing acute financial crisis, and
partly as a result of the conflict,
yeah,
which are going on Northwest and Southwest.
And then you say you admire an action which leaves the country people to.
Which action?
No. You are the one who just said you.
No, I said no. No, I said I.
And you are even suggesting that cabinet shake-up is going to take place.
No, I said no. Mr. Leo, I said he has not violated any law. Let me make myself clear. I said personally I'm expecting a cabinet shake-up.
Are you saying that the president of Gabon, Ivory Coast, and the rest who have done cabinet shake-ups were violating any constitution?
No, I have not said so. I'm saying that because somebody, like the way some media organs are putting it, it's like there is a law which says after presidential election or after any election there must be a shake-up. That's why I said he has not violated any law.
Maybe they are just worried, like he is saying,
good.
Because if in your country,
it's unheard of, Mr. Leo. Let me learn or forget.
If in your country, the boss of the economy war,
yes,
the boss of JICAM tells you that do this as a matter of fact and you do not act, do you really love the economy?
Definitely no. There is something that baffles me, that for close to 3 years now, that we lost the Minister of Mines. His office is still vacant. Then I start asking myself whether truly the head of state knows that his minister has died. Because I don't know whether it requires a particular procedure to get somebody replaced. I don't know. So I think somebody is not doing the job right somewhere. And that has to stop. Because personally I feel that even if there is a shake-up, I don't see much changes there. I don't see too many new faces. It's my opinion. I just feel that they will bring like 2, 3, 4 new persons, and then they will just do some juxtapositioning, remove A and put here. Because what I see in the head of state's mandate now is that, except he wants to take another mandate after 2032, which I find it virtually impossible, is that he wants to use this mandate as a transitional mandate of Cameroon. And we hope that should be the case, because institutions in this country are not working. We have to say things the way they are. We know that some people hate us for what we say, but it's fine. The time has come for us to say things the way they are. Institutions, most institutions in this country at a very top level are not working. And I think the head of state has to take his responsibility.
Yes, how long should we wait? We should wait for the president's time? Are you also worried like the president of JICAM?
Of course, particularly as a businessman. So we are some of those who are feeling the pinch more than any other person. Because those of us in the public service, at the end of the month, you are sure of something from the public. But some of us who are in the business where we find it is very, very disturbing. So I'm equally as worried as the president of JICAM. And I'm even more worried that if the cabinet shake-up comes up, there may not really be necessarily
he talks of result-driven.
Yes.
He's expecting technocrats, which means that, and he says that there is need to be a complete. He means real reshufflement. Go out there, get those who are most competent for specific positions to get the job done. Also reduce the numbers.
Mr. Kum, if you are honest to yourself, you agree with me that in terms of positioning, the way politics is done in Cameroon, Africa is a bit different. For instance, in the West, if they want to get the mayor of this city, they will not look at the party a lot. Okay, they feel that Mr. Kum is living in this community, is a better person to develop this community. Irrespective of the party that he comes from, he he will develop communities, because everybody has the same, so there's access to the same amount of money to develop a community. Now, in our case here now, there's something that is clear, Mr. Kum, is that the way people pick positions in Cameroon is not by meritocracy. And that's why I'm a bit pessimistic about the outcome of this government share up satisfying the president of JICAM. Because if you ask the president of JICAM to do a recommendation for the government, he will surely produce some top technocrats to fit certain top positions that will be result driven, that you know that the next 5 years they will be turning things around. 2-3 years, they will be turning things around with positive results. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he has that leverage to make that recommendation. And we have allowed, Dr. Dimanjo said something, said in 1990, President Paul Biya, there was a survey and he said the greatest challenge in Cameroon is tribalism. I used to think that, I happen not to have read that report, Doctor, that UN report. But I'm happy that you mentioned it, because I happen to have realized that, I thought that the president did not take note of it. Because the way tribalism and the tribalism has infringed into recruitment and appointments in Cameroon, and there's something. Results are driven by meritocracy. If you employ somebody who will produce a chair, who doesn't know how to produce a chair, you will never have a chair produced. That is it. If people come before you to recruit somebody who will produce a camera, and you see the competent one, because he's not the son of a minister, son of a friend, you recruit the son of your friend minister or his own director who is your friend, who doesn't know how to produce a camera, he will never get the camera produced. And I think this is the direct, what the president said in 1990, you can see it directly affecting the projects in Cameroon. Look at the state projects. Look at the cities are running almost without water, no roads, no electricity, electric electricity everywhere. We have power stations that have been initiated all over this country. They are not running. They cannot power the country. My assumption is that the people who are put in these offices are incompetent. So the president realized since 1990 that meritocracy is not being practiced when giving these appointments. And as of now, to satisfy the wish of the president of JICAM, if that is not done, Mr. Kum, I'm afraid they will still make appointments and put incompetent people into incompetent offices, and they are not going to get the result. And the economy will stay down, and thus the plea of the president of JICAM carefully chose his words. His words were carefully chosen. They were carefully chosen. If you read his report, they were carefully chosen. That people should be produced who are competent, who can deliver results. And if such people are not appointed, and you just appoint anybody and fit anywhere, I'm afraid the economy will stay down.
The economy will stay down.
Yes.
Can we also note there are speculations that people are battling to stay on, others have vowed not to leave government. Could that be the reason why the president himself is finding it difficult to publish this reshuffled government?
Yes, I've heard even issues of metaphysics, issues of wish hunting and wish world, where people are sacrificing and bringing a lot of marabouts and witch doctors around to stay in power, to stay in government offices. So it is also that is the human beings constantly want to be where they are, to be in good position, irrespective of whether they deliver the goods or not. And this is what happens in politics. In politics, you want to stay on whether you are delivering the goods or not. And this is exactly the picture in Cameroon, that people have seen that they are not delivering the goods, but they want to stay on, because that is also an attribute of capitalism. All for me and nothing for you. This is all about that. And like you will see in the beautiful one on board, you say, chop a chop, country spoil. That's what people want to do. Yes, they don't care. Let the country spoil. As far as I'm okay with my family, as far as my bank account is pregnant and is constantly bulging, I have no problem with the community. Because how would you imagine that you have in quarters where you have big buildings, 5-story, 10 stories, but you don't have roots leading to those places? You only see houses sprouting out, houses growing out of bushes. Because people want to hide their money. People think that it should just be for them. And that is why people constantly want to maintain the status quo. we have heard many stories here in Cameroon where even the East region, where they were voting the senator, I mean the regional president of the East region, or the, yes, where people think that he should have maintained from a particular family. Even if the goods are not delivered, it should be from the until there's somebody was threatening to say that if he leaves this position leaves his family to another.
It was in the south region.
In the south region, then something exactly. So you see how wicked the heart of money is. Not about meritocracy, but it is about what people want to gain as individual family, as individual region, as friends, and all of those.
Okay, we are going to be continuing these discussions. After today, we will be ending here because we have to talk about imports and exports of goods out of Cameroon. For those who are watching who wants to do international business, international business, please just stay put. You're going to learn something new on how you can engage in this and make some money. Mr. Aloysius, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum, and thank all the